Let's get right into it. This episode is about the night doctors. So the night doctors are considered to be a spirit that's horrible and gruesome in spirit. Hence why they are known to be body snatchers. See, children would be warned not to go outside at night or even during the day during the month of November and December. These months, especially in the month of November, is considered to be very dangerous. In fact, according to Hoodoo, the month of November is considered to be the most unlucky. This is according to Hoodoo customs and understandings and logic. And the most unlucky day is in November, which is Friday the 13th. So November, Friday the 13th is considered to be the most unlucky day. And it is the highest day of spirit wandering. That's why. So with that being said, the night doctors is a spirit or spirits that would take African American children and adults to do medical experiments since the time of enslavement. The people could be alive or unalived to experiment on. As a result, he would also rob African American graves and take their bodies, which would prevent the spirit of the corpse to actually rest. Because in Hoodoo, it's considered that a person should have some sort of proper burial in order for the spirit to rest. And there are many Hoodoo ceremonies, or ceremonies that is performed today in burial customs in regards to ensuring that a person is laid to rest properly. Now, I'll get into that in a different episode, but moving on. So the night doctor is a group of spirits based on true events, but there were a few who fell under the category many not forget. Chris Baker was an unusual night doctor because he himself was African American, and most night doctors were white American except for those purchased by colleges or by a college, or those purchased to steal body. And what I mean by purchase is enslaved Africans will be purchased and used to do certain tasks. And yes, this also happened within the medical field. So there goes that. Now, Chris Baker was born enslaved at a medical college of Virginia. And some say he was a medical anatomy student in the college as well. Chris was well respected on that campus, but feared and hated by the black community in Virginia, according to legend. He was also known as a hoodoo doctor, or more respectfully or specifically, a witch doctor. And this term is actually still used today as a title in Hoodoo, the witch doctor. So his logic regarding using African Americans to test on or as test subjects was influenced by the education and teachings of the College of Academic Medical Treatment of that period of time in America. Now, to touch a little bit on this, the understandings and the logic of the medical field as it relates to African Americans still trickle down and affects how African Americans receive their treatment today. There are many reports and there is data and studies showing that it is still believed today that African Americans cannot feel as much pain as any other race, due to our nerve endings not being, we can take pain easier. We have different nerve endings and things of that sort, which we know isn't true. However, till this day, you can look up the influence of pain medication distributed to African Americans based on threshold and based on racism. You will find all of the evidence that you need. But anyways, moving on. Now, he would treat his clients like guinea pigs because he wasn't sure what worked as a cure for his clients. And what I mean by clients is his hoodoo clients. Hoodoo doctors or witch doctors are actually said to actually help to heal, which is where they get the term doctor from. They're known for healing. And the thing is, when it comes to being a hoodoo doctor, you have to give prescriptions to heal the body, especially when one is sick, mentally or even physically. But, he would experiment on selling spiritual medicine without ever testing it out to ensure it worked. Sometimes he would rob graves and bodies. Many said he ate the flesh of people too. This is according to legend, by the way. Also according to legend, he would disguise himself as a mourner at funerals, scouting for fresh corpses or corpse to experiment on or to give to medical students to test and dissect. Body snatchers were known to snatch people alive as well, capturing them in bags. As a result, Baker is said to commit such crimes as well. Baker was captured. He was beaten. He was jailed, and he was also shot, leading to his demise. He is known as a quote-unquote hot spirit or a haint. Some may even consider it to be a plat eye, and I will talk about what a plat eye spirit is in hoodoo in another episode as well. But this is where it comes to the understanding that body snatchers are still out in the spirit form, not just in the physical. And now is considered to be a hoodoo spirit. Hoodoo spirits tend to be indicative to the African American culture, logic, and understanding. Now, body snatchers were, actually targeted African Americans and the enslaved people. So this is why, the body snatcher or the night doctor is considered to be a hoodoo spirit, a haint. And so Mr. Baker actually said to still, haunt. He is considered to haunt people. Now, let's move on to the other person that I named. So based on true events, Grandison are told as well. So there's another person named, Grandison. Grandison Harris, to be specific, is known as a night doctor. And he was also a body snatcher purchased by a medical college of Georgia to snatch bodies. Snatching bodies is, like I described before, robbing graves of bodies, and also going in and snatching people. That's what a body snatcher is. So he is considered to be a night doctor. Now, he was 36 years old when he was purchased in 1852. Grandison was born around 1816 in West Africa, it is said, and brought to Georgia. And he was considered to be Gullah, here in the U.S. At the time he was sold, his wife was pregnant with their child, and he was forced to separate and sell to snatch corpses from Cedar Grove Cemetery to Augusta, Georgia. The cemetery is known to house impoverished African Americans, therefore a target for the school. Grandison would only snatch bodies at night under the moon. Grandison was feared because it is believed that he had like supernatural powers and assisted medical students in dissecting bodies. This is according to legend. He went on to become a judge in the Free Boroughs Court after enslavement was abolished, and it was reunited with his wife in Hamburg, California, also known as North Augusta. He was a member of the Colored Knights of Pythias, a secret society started in 1880 by African American men, which is an organization offset of the White Knights of Pythias, a fraternal organization that was inspired by Freemasonry. So, although Chris Baker and Grandison were real people as well as other body snatchers, the spirit of the Night Doctors are said to haunt the southern United States to date, as these spirits are based on a period in time during and after the antebellum period noted in events where African Americans were used for medical experiments, including a well-known Tuskegee experiment. This is according to white Americans. Black Americans were the only ones who should be experimented on and were not considered to be human like white Americans, as black Americans couldn't feel pain like white Americans and were less subject to physical or psychological problems. So, because of these events, if you know anything about how some spirits can be conjured up and born, the Night Doctors exist in Hoodoo. So as you can see, they exist in form of haints, ghosts, and also they exist in forms of different conjuration techniques as well, to put it like that. So, as we know, it is true. However, it is presumed that white Americans observed the strength of black people in America, viewing them as different. And to date, as I said before, black Americans do not trust modern day medicine. And to date, many black Americans are treated as if they have a high pain threshold. Little did anyone know that the strength of black Americans and black people in America came from their belief of certain spirits, such as High John. I will talk about High John on this channel as well. And he himself is known as a soul snatcher who can magically allow for a man's soul to leave his body while he was still alive so he wouldn't feel pain. Or spirits such as like the Flying African, who gave black Americans hope and faith. So this belief that African Americans couldn't feel pain, that we were psychologically, we had it more together psychologically and we're not affected by life, is not true per se. But on the outside, looking in, we gave the nature, our ancestors gave that nature because they had no choice. They did not want to be psychologically defeated. They didn't want to be physically defeated. They had spirits that they had faith in. One thing about a black person, it is said that if we have faith in something, it gives us strength. And so what white Americans saw was our strength. which they made an excuse to say that we should be experimented on as if we are guinea pigs. The same actually applies, to how some animals are treated. It is believed that they don't have, a certain pain threshold, or they do not feel pain the way that a human feel. We were treated like animals, much like a lobster thrown into boiling water alive, or crab boiled, alive in boiling water. This is how white Americans viewed us, as if it didn't matter, that the pain didn't exist in us. But much like any other spiritual tradition, Hoodoo has lore and spirits based on real events. Knowing the history of Hoodoo and its spirits is essential to understanding the logic of Hoodoo and the spirits that exist within it. If you want to know more, you may follow me on Patreon, and I'm going to come up with more stories to get more education, understanding, and logic out there in regards to Hoodoo. Thanks for listening, and enjoy your day.